Beloved ones, I am Ashtar Sheran and I come now to speak with you about a practical art that many of you sense but few have fully practiced, the anchoring of galactic light into daily matter. This is not mythic poetry alone, it is an embodied skill set, a tender technology of frequency, discipline, and humility that allows vast, high-frequency impulses to descend without shattering your form. To anchor galactic light is to take cosmic impulse and translate it into human service, to let star codes weave into your relationships, your work, your neighborhoods, your crafts, and your local ecosystems so that the high tones are not distant spectacle but tangible support. Imagine a seed of starlight pressed into soil. If the soil is prepared, watered, and held, the seed sprouts. If the seed is flung onto rock, it burns and is lost. The same principle applies to light. My purpose in this transmission is to guide you through frameworks, practices, and cautions that will help you be reliable channels and wise stewards of the influx that is now available to you. Listen not only with ears but with body tone, let the field of your attention breathe this instruction in as a practical manual, then test it in small steps and refine as you go. The first rule of anchoring is preparation. Prepare your container. A high-frequency current requires a vessel that is stable, coherent, and calibrated. This does not mean perfection, it means consistent tending. Your preparation is threefold: somatic, emotional, and structural. Somatically, you must return to your bones often. Grounding practices that root energy into your feet, pelvis, and spine create the pathways by which light descends without dispersing. Simple daily practices like walking barefoot when possible, conscious breathing into the base of the spine, and micro-movements that shake and release tension help the nervous system accept higher charge. Emotional preparation is about clearing contracted narratives and unresolved charge that attract distortion. A heart full of old grievance acts as a static barrier. An open heart that has practiced forgiveness and boundary can open and close with discernment, allowing light to move. Structural preparation concerns your life systems: stable sleep, rhythm to your day, reliable nourishing practices, clear agreements in relationship, and a support network. These practical supports make you less likely to short when a surge arrives. When I say prepare the vessel, I do not ask you to withdraw from life to become perfect vessels, rather, prepare while you live. This is the art of everyday sanctification, small, regular acts that invite recalibration. The next principle is translation. Learn to translate codes into form. Galactic light often arrives as geometric signatures, tonal fragments, visions, or sudden shifts in feeling. Untrained, you might interpret these as grandeur and broadcast them into confusion. Translation is the slow work of receiving, testing, contextualizing, and forming language, symbols, or actions that humans can use. When a code arrives, pause, ground, invite your inner counsel, and ask for a small experiment you can run that day. Translate a geometry into a repeated tone you hum while you work, a visual glyph you sketch into your notebook, a micro-ritual you perform before entering a meeting. Over time, that language accrues validity, results appear in subtle shifts in mood, productivity, or relationship tone. Trust iterative testing rather than immediate proclamation. The third principle is calibration. Not every light pulse is yours to anchor. Discernment is central. There are many frequencies present in the field. Some are eddies, some are invitations, some are distortions. Your responsibility is to test what matches your integrity, capacity, and service intention. Use simple tests. Does the impulse encourage sovereignty or dependency? Does it ask for secrecy or transparency? Does acting on it support life or cause harm? When in doubt, wait. A portal that insists you move immediately is often a provocation. Patience is a virtue of anchoring. The fourth principle is integration. Anchor the light into repeated forms that create habit. A single grand transmission without repetition rarely holds. You must translate the influx into daily gestures, a specific breath pattern that accompanies creativity, a sequence of movements before you begin relational conversations, a writing ritual that stitches the cosmic code into practical plans. These repeated acts are the mortar that binds frequency into matter. Consider the example of a teacher who receives a burst of clarity about new pedagogy. The teacher does not change the curriculum overnight but creates a weekly exercise that integrates the new scalar into the classroom, evaluates the results, and then expands. The anchor grows like a tree root through ritual, evaluation, and refinement. The fifth principle concerns ethics and humility. Anchoring galactic light is not a platform for ego amplification. The cosmos offers frequencies for service, not for self-aggrandizement. Before you transmit, ask, who benefits? Is there consent in the field? Are there potential harms? Work with humility and accountability. If you are in a community role, invite peers to observe, critique, and co-design experiments. Create feedback loops so distortion is caught early. This practice prevents cults of personality and keeps the flow healthy. The sixth principle is boundary and containment. Radiant beings have porous edges. Anchoring the light does not require absorption of every field around you. Use clear containment practices to prevent bleed. Visualization of a lattice, physical gestures that mark the edge of your field, or simple speech acts like stating intention aloud can act as borders. Containment is not isolation, it is protection that allows flow without leakage. The seventh principle is reciprocal exchange. You must receive as well as give. Many who anchor light become conduits but forget to refill their own reservoirs. Set up cycles of reception, retreats, quiet days, trusted rituals, supportive friendships where you can download without performance. The cosmos returns to those who maintain equilibrium between channel and reservoir. The eighth principle is translation into systems. Anchoring light into daily matter means embedding frequency into institutions, schools, municipal projects, cooperative enterprises, arts, agriculture, business models. Begin small, a neighborhood solar circle that pairs practical sustainability tasks with a short vibrational attunement, a cooperative that weaves ethical governance with star-inspired design principles, an arts program that uses tonal codes to support community well-being. Institutional anchors are multiplier effects. They allow the light to propagate beyond the initiator. The ninth principle is working with elements. Galactic light resonates through elemental allies, earth to ground, water to feel, air to inform, fire to activate, and ether to weave subtle geometry. Use elemental ceremonies to embed transmission. For example, when anchoring an educational code, place seeds, earth, in a circle while speaking intention, air, wet the soil with clear purpose, water, and light a candle for activation, fire. Such elemental choreography helps matter accept high vibration because the elements co-resonate and stabilize charge. The 10th principle is lineage and community authorization. Some transmissions are personal, some are communal. When a code asks to be placed into a collective domain, seek consent and cultural context. Avoid imposing star templates where they clash with local wisdom or sovereignty. Work with elders, cultural custodians, local councils. When cosmic frequency is integrated with respect for human cultural patterns, it becomes a regenerative force, otherwise it can act like invasive species destabilizing ecosystem balance. The 11th principle is language of embodiment, prefer action over proclamation. The most powerful anchoring is quiet, consistent doing. Speak less about the magnitude and more about the small steps you practice. Show the curve of effect rather than demand belief. People align with evidence. When communities experience practical benefit, more cohesion, improved productivity, less fight or burnout, better ecological outcomes, they become natural carriers. You become a translator, not a preacher. The 12th principle is humility with vision. Hold large vision lightly. You may see vast futures, keep them like stars guiding navigation, not like rigid plans you force into being. The cosmos adjusts, conditions shift, human will intercedes. Hold your vision with tenderness and willingness to iterate. The 13th principle is safety protocols. Whenever you work with higher frequencies, anchor in ethical signposts, do no harm, preserve consent, do not use manipulation. Be explicit about your safety practices. Who can access transmissions? How are people supported if a shift challenges them? How do you step back if field pressure becomes unsustainable? Create fallback plans and community support so nobody is left destabilized by sudden change. The 14th principle addresses embodiment thresholds. Large downloads may pass through you but will also land in your field gradually. You will experience stages: initial ecstatic rush, somatic integration, test in relational life, reorganization of plans, and finally normalization. Honor each phase. Resist the temptation to speed this. Rushing fractals leads to burnout or misapplication. The 15th principle is skillful use of technology and art. Material culture can help store and transmit codes. Sculptures, music, design, architecture, and even software can become repositories for galactic patterning if created with intention. Artists and technologists are allies in anchoring because they can craft artifacts that human senses can interact with daily. Commission works that embed patterns in public spaces, mosaics that carry geometry, sound installations that play attunements at specific times, playground designs that invite children into new movement patterns. The 16th principle is training and mentorship. Do not assume your path is solitary. Seek mentors who have practiced anchoring, apprenticing for seasons under those who have a track record of integration. Mentor others as you grow. The craft of anchoring multiplies through relationships, not declarations. The 17th principle is experimentation and measurement. While some of this work is subtle, you can and should measure outcomes in human terms: changes in cooperation, rates of conflict, productivity, creativity indices, biodiversity metrics in local soil, school attendance, community satisfaction. Use both qualitative and quantitative measures. This not only validates your work but also informs refinement. The 18th principle is scaling responsibly. When a pattern works in a small community, scale slowly. What functions in one valley may not translate in another climate or culture. Build local teams who know the terrain and adapt forms responsibly. Avoid export models that impose sameness. The 19th principle is dealing with opposition. Anytime light shifts systems, some will resist. Prepare for pushback with steady communication, openness to dialogue, and transparent governance. Resist the urge to crush dissent, rather, integrate critique as data. Use councils, listening forums, and amend practices when needed. The 20th principle is joy and celebration. Anchoring heavy currents can feel strenuous. Celebrate small wins. Joy increases coherence and attracts more aligned support. Make ritual of success, communal feasts of gratitude, and public acknowledgement of collaboration. Finally, remember that anchoring galactic light into daily matter is an apprenticeship of humility, craft, and patience. You will not always be spectacular. Often your greatest service is ordinary reliability, the steady person who breathes the tone, rocks the cradle, signs the paperwork, cleans the hall after a meeting, and returns the borrowed tools. Keep faith. The cosmos roots through reliability. I, Ashtar Sheran, stand beside those who choose this patient work. Call to me as you prepare your vessel, as you translate a code, as you test your first micro-practice. Together we will learn how to weave star into soil without burning the field, how to let high frequencies feed human flourishing rather than fracture it, and how to build a network of anchored vessels who bless Earth with steady, joyful, wise light.